creatures from nothingness, define the basic laws that form the pillars of science. The way he spoke, his words materialized, forming each letter with plot, coating itself with furs, feathers, paint, and scales. Yet when it got to a particular species, he wanted one that betrayed the very essence of his divinity, that withheld the image of his majesty, that spoke of his greatness. With these species just being alive, they came together and said, "Let us make man in our own image." For previous species other than men, because apparently we are the last born of creation, they all had one goal: to survive, and that was their default mode. But he turned to man and made him understand that he has dominion because he is a replica of the Most High. He is a working record of God's power. So apart from man's prerogative duty, man's entire existence is based off of the premise of worship, the magnification of entirety. Now attentive here, take notes, I never said worship God, but worship. We are made to worship God, but not programmed to worship Him. Because He has given us the gift of free will, so we have to consciously, willingly, deliberately choose Him to worship and not Mammon. If we're programmed with the former, would be better than robots now, would we? Contradicting the passage that calls gods, demigods, distorting our godliness as the only beings created with the ability to choose whom to worship, our default mode, and worship. And with it is the need for a concert, a subject, a God we must bow to. That's the reason why the Egyptian ears and the hands of the Israelites couldn't wait any longer on the stammer of Moses. They had to gather their gifted gods from Egypt and ignite a God to worship. Swearing their entirety on a God made by their hands, their choice was clear. So the rod and the staff turned them from the broad way to the narrow. Now there is a fallacy, a lie, propagated by the most wanted criminal, the devil. That with us present are dozens of gods to choose from the sun to the moon to the universe. But make no mistake, you are just two. And for those that fall into this fallacy, if God Jesus is not on your pedestal, you'll be an inevitable rape of your worship. Placed before you will be gods. Your mind will refuse to tell you that you're becoming a slave to, until you're finally subjected beneath it. And at the end of the road, at the gate of your eternity, what you thought was harmless, but unconsciously worshiping it, will unveil itself to be Mammon. But we're gifted with the formation of three outstanding elements: the body, the soul, and the spirit. We're not just magnificent to run around and play gods on earth. Let us take a look in the mirror. Let our image minister to us. Let your features testify that they are not original. No, they are a replica, God's replica. Your physique is given to you for the sole purpose of gratifying Him. You think these hands are just for your pleasure. They are to be used for His exaltation. This mind must think of new ways of magnifying His kingdom. He hasn't given us access to the most intelligent machines, our brains, just so it could be used to abbreviate long words. So much investment into one mind wasted at death when all we had to do was think. The Bible says how beautiful are the feet of those that preach the gospel. Well, if those feet could stop standing on one spot and start walking. Here's my contribution to the dictionary. Your worship is synonymous to your life because your life is your worship. Your existence is your worship. So it doesn't begin with your morning devotion. It doesn't end with the grace at church service. It begins with the affirmation of your gender at birth, to the inhalation of your final breath at death. So you're not just a teacher, you're a temple. You're not just a cashier, you're a semblance of heaven in human form. You're not just a waiter, you're an embodiment of God's divinity. And you're not just a person, you're a walking worship.